All right, everyone, welcome back to podcast number 3. We back right here. Let's do it. All right, so today we have me, Thomas, Oak, Julia, and Tyler, our special guest, and then from the Blue Shrimp family, we have Francisca and Stephanie, one of our producers. So hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Originally, how this was going to happen is last year, Oak and I had the bright idea to start a podcast, but that completely got stopped. You know, COVID happened. We stopped seeing each other, and we just got, mixed up with a bunch of other different projects. And because of that, we kind of just stopped, right? So 2021, we're back again, and we wanted to do this again. We wanted to bring it back. So, for today, our two special guests are Julia Lee and Mr. Tyler, the handsome Tyler right there. Look at him. Yeah, man, come on. Ooh. So, we're all back. It's 2021. The COVID season is almost over. We're fighting it, Some of us might have had the virus, and, we got it. This is us. I'll start off by just talking a little bit about myself and, what I've been doing the past year. For the past 7 months, I've just been working on a show, and we've just been writing. We're going to finish up next week. Oak, what have you been up to?
I think your BPM a little too quick. Calm down a little bit. Yeah.
Am I talking too fast?
Down. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time, all right? So what I've been doing is like the way I do, I will flow with the water, go with the flow. And last year, right now, basically I'm a full-time editor. But last year I got a chance to fly to Wyoming to work with Kanye and come back and we're still working with them a little bit. And now I'm just focusing on my own thing on Oak's World page. I do like a lot of cooking video. I start making my own music and still editing, and coming soon my merch and Blue Shrimp merch.
Yeah.
It's a very short summary, but I would love to share with you when we have a proper time. But this is my introduction.
Cool. Thank you, Oak. Stephanie, so this is Stephanie on the podcast. She's one of our producers for Blue Shrimp. Stephanie, who are you? Where are you from? What's up with you?
So I am Stephanie, guys. Hello. I am originally from Brazil. What's up with me? So we all work together on Blue Shrimp Films. We've been trying to bring projects together. We've been working on a feature film for the past couple of years that unfortunately had to be held because of COVID-19. But for the past 2 months, I have also been working with Thomas on the show that will hopefully be shooting very soon. And just dedicating our time for that. Yeah.
Cool. And then we have Francisca here. So Francisca emailed me a couple months ago, just got like a random. Actually, I started getting a couple of emails, but Francisca was the first one, and she mentions, something about, she wants to bring like, the light to like people of color, like that was one of the things that like stood out in her email. And I said, all right, for sure, what's up with her? So I hit her up, and then she came on board, and she's been helping us out with a lot of different things. So Francisca.
Hello, I'm Francisca. So I guess I said the magic words, So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I hopped on as an intern, and right now I'm pretty much assisting with marketing stuff, like getting items, stickers. We just got stickers. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm a senior at Season right now. I'm under the screenwriting program. So I've been kind of building my writing portfolio that I could hopefully eventually soon I could get filmed. So that's the goal. And pretty much my goal as a student, like transitioning into the field, is to obviously get stuff filmed. The ultimate goal is to be a showrunner pretty much, have my own show. That'd be great. So yeah, it's pretty much me.
Cool, everyone.
Sounds good.
All right, those are our intros, and here's the theme song, and then we'll introduce you, Julia and Tyler, officially. Ready? All right, let's go. All right.
Julia and Tyler.
I'm going to try to take it slow, okay? Because I know I talk really fast, so that's just me. So today on the show, we have two of the, the coolest people we met at CSUN. I'll say that for sure. The two people that Oak and I fucked with the most out of everyone in that program, that's
no bully.
And Mr. Tyler. That's them, So these are two really cool people. I met Tyler in that when he was the DP, you know, for At Tiempo. You know that.
Oh shit, that's a throwback.
Yeah, that was the first time we worked together.
Yeah.
That was CTVA 250.
Yeah, 250. There you go. With,
I was a gaffer.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think we
I always
talked
was a
very
gaffer.
much, Oak. But definitely after that we did.
Yeah, I think Oak was depressed during that time because he was, you know, he wanted to direct and he got gaff. He became the.
CTV 250, I actually produced the film that Julia wrote.
Damn.
There you go.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Good times.
Mhm.
And you acted in it too, right? Oh, no,
Oh,
no, no.
yeah,
that
that's
was-
true.
oh,
I
yeah.
had- I had a
another
little tiny. Oh, yeah, that was another one.
That was another. Wow, we did so many projects
True.
together.
I look back at some of the stuff that was shot many years ago, and some of it's pretty cringe. You know, like we don't
Yeah,
want.
you don't have to show it.
We have to do something of it. You know?
Okay.
But Julia and Tyler, you know, we'll just start off with if you can just both talk about yourselves a little bit. Julia, do you want to go first? Just talk about where you're from.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm from LA, and I currently work in animation. Although we all met in film school, but I actually got into like the world of animation and just been working on a bunch of like really cool projects. And they're actually like the first project that I worked on, Laser Wolf. The season 2 has like come out.
So why do you want a job in the club?
To be real with you, Patricia, I'm just looking to get hired, then fired, and get that unemployment check so I can buy my friend's bike and give it back to him.
How adorable. Now, go grab a mop and clean the floors.
It's really cool. And another project that I got to work on is coming out soon, and we just released the trailer for it yesterday, and it's called Waffles and Mochi on Netflix.
Let's go.
Ooh.
It's a project with the Obama production company, Higher Ground.
Oh.
So it's like it's really exciting, but I think during spare time, like my love of film always like comes back. So
Of course. What about you, Tyler? Let's talk about yourself to us a little bit.
My name is Tyler. I grew up in LA, born and raised. And for the past, like, I'd say 10 years now, I've been really into like media, filmmaking, entertainment, and all the likes. But also, I've always been interested in like photography and visuals. So that's kind of my background. But also currently just been, trying to make those passion projects come to life. And currently unemployed, but it's all good. We're in this time. But also working to just create the visuals that I've been wanting to. And also with the time that we have now, it's been a little more freeing to just feel like, okay, we can do this. We can like try to make these things happen.
And I'm glad you say that because towards the end of the podcast we'll talk about your film, right, which you made during quarantine. So we'll get to that. But before that, Tyler and Julia, you both have parents in the industry, right, in some sort of capacity, right? So because of that, did that ever kind of push you in the direction that you're in now, or has it helped you? Like, and I say that because lots of people that like Tyler, I know your mom, right? She works in the industry, and your dad's a photographer, right? Julia, your dad does catering for lots of different sets, and I know that lots of that stuff did help you both also get your first job in the industry.
Yeah, you're right. My mom does animation. She's a producer. She's a senior producer at 6 Point Harness. And my dad, he, like 2 years ago, quit his full-time job to become like a freelance photographer. And so I think creative jobs and creativity is kind of just like in my family in some regards. But I think, for one, my mom's career has always been animation. So it hasn't really, pushed me to want to do animation in a way. I think it's shown me a side of the entertainment industry that was more on the producing side, though. It wasn't really like live action ever, or even like on set. It was mostly production side. I'm sure like Stephanie, you know that, or you guys as producers might know that, but it definitely encouraged me in a way because she knew the ins and outs of producing. And if I ever had a question, about my taxes or my paperwork and shit like that, I feel like she would understand and know what's right for the situation. So she's been a really good help in that way.
The thing about my parents is that it's kind of funny because my dad is a crafty person, but he started his crafty business around the same time I was like, oh, hey, like, I kind of want to just take film classes because I was going to drop out of CSUN because I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to be here. And then I was like looking at all of the majors and different like classes that they were providing. And then I was like, oh, this film major sounds really interesting. So I just like signed up for these classes and I was like, I'm just going to go. And if I hate it, I'm going to drop out of CSUN. So it was kind of like a weird coincidence, but I don't think like my dad really, like his influence wasn't as like prominent on my journey into film. It was kind of like a weird coincidence. And he does like a lot of live action, like reality shows and whatnot. So it's like a little two different worlds, Yeah.
But that is a weird coincidence, right? Because it is two different worlds, but it's still the same industry, So it is kind of crazy that the moment you decided to take these classes, you decided to start the business,
Yeah, he's doing the Grammys like in a couple of weeks.
Oh, that's cool.
He was like, "Do you want to work?" I was like, "Oh God, thank you."
Hell yeah. Julie and Tyler, when was that moment when you realized that you both wanted to be in the industry? And Tyler, and I mean, for you were with your mom, you were around it your whole life, So when's that moment when you said like, okay, I'm gonna pursue it too, because the long hours, how stressful it is. You got a nice ass house though, I'll tell you that. When I went up there and I dropped off, I don't know what it was, worth it, right? Like it's But what was that moment?
I don't know. I can't really like put a name to that moment. I think definitely in college when I was like applying for the film program and like trying to get in, like that was like a moment where I was like, okay, I want to do this because I want to graduate and I want to like, earn this degree so that it can help me get a job later. And so I think during college and even before college when I was like picking schools, because I was like, I want to go to a school that has a good film program. And so this all sort of like loops back into like me wanting to be in the industry. But I think if I were to put a name to this moment, it would be when I got accepted to the film program. And I was like, okay, now this is like, feels a little real. Like,
But you also did that media like course in high school, right?
In high school, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was interested like since high school to like try to pursue this. But I guess it sort of led me to like want to do it in college as well. And I think if I didn't have it in high school, I would have been like, what do I want to do?
Oh yeah, dude. And definitely like that moment when you do get accepted into the film program is like a, oh my God, like.
Yeah, for everybody, right?
Yeah, I was denied the first time. Oak was denied the first time. Like
that's why I met Thomas.
Oak and I became friends because we both got denied the first time and we're like, damn, like we suck. What about for you, Julia? What's that moment for you when you realized that you wanted to do this?
I guess like honestly there's this weird like memory I have where like during that time when I was like considering dropping out, I was like, I stumbled upon this like documentary about filmmaking. And then it was just like diving into like how the purpose of films, and it's like really it's just to tell the story and like to convey like, and it's such a universal thing that like all humans can relate to emotions, right? And that's like what drives a film. And so I think like somewhere in that moment, I kind of realized like film is like this art form that kind of has like every single one of your senses like engaged. Like you can see it, you hear it, and then you emotionally feel it, right? As to like a painting is kind of like you just like you visually see it, but it's not moving. But then like filmmaking, it's like a total story, and like you go into that character and like you feel like everything that they're feeling, and like you can see things and you hear it. And it's like, I think in that time, like I've always like loved art and like wanted to pursue art, but I think I realized like how powerful films are is in that like it literally can put you in the place of the character that like art like a painting might not be able to do, you know.
And I agree with you, Julie, because the other day I watched Sound of Metal. So I found
we watched that too recently. Yeah.
Like I literally
so good. Good.
I had to pause the film at one point when this guy was going deaf because like I couldn't. It was like I don't know what the sound design was, but it was like hurting me. I felt like I was going deaf with this guy, you know. And I stopped.
It made my.
Did you get the goosebump? Did you get the goosebump when the credit come up, direct by him?
It was
got the goosebump right there. Like,
there's always lots of people that hit us up. It's always lots of film students. And lots of these film students are always asking us about, you know, they want to help us out. They want to get involved. They want to do lots of those, you know, they want to do those kind of things, you know. And after graduating, you know, like, first of all, like, I really miss you guys, you know. And Julia, Tyler, like, I really miss you. I really miss seeing you guys. I really miss hanging out with y'all, you know. Like, I feel like this quarantine just honestly just separated everyone, you know. Like, and everyone's off doing their own thing, you know. But I hope that once it's over, you know, we can all get back together and be with each other, right? But I feel like, and I'm saying that right now because I feel like one of the best things I got out of going to CSUN was making friends. Like making friends in the film industry. And I think that's the only thing that's really worth the money, right? And the effort of going every day and taking these classes, you know, is just that was just me though, you know.
And the problem for a student that got to school last year, no friend. No physical friend.
So
no Thursday movie club. No going out and getting drunk. No deep talk until 3 a.m, you know.
True.
Yeah, and Francisca, you know, you're going through that right now, right? Your past 2 years now have been virtual. Like that must be, extremely hard.
Especially like I tend to be on the quieter side, a little bit introvert. I'm trying to change those habits, but the idea with me of going to school was to like, you know, meet people, network, but you know, it's still happening. It's just different platform, obviously. So,
So Julian,
doing now.
Yeah, I'm doing now. But Julian, Tyler, so you know, do you think school is worth it for you? Was that something that you know you're glad you did, or you know, looking at your 4 or 5 years of 4 years of school, right? You guys did 4?
4, yeah. I'm so on and off about like whether it was worth it or not. But I do agree with you. You make a good point. Like I met a lot of great people. You all of you guys. You too. And
I'm gonna cry.
But it's true. Like you seem to like, you know, like work with the people and like you build this sort of network of people that you can call up and just be like, you know, let's try to make something. Yeah, that's what you guys did, right? That's Blue Shrimp, straight up. And like we're there for you. And I think like that sort of like bond really helped me grow and helped me like sort of want to push for more. Whereas like, you know, if I didn't go to school, I might not have met the same people or had the same like drive. Because I think it served as like a good sort of foundation for me to learn and then also like use these tools like in action. And I know it's like you know, you could always just go out and do that stuff, but I think it definitely depends on the type of person you are. Like some people don't need it, you know, and it's like I felt like it helped me, and I'm glad I did it. So I think it is worth it. but it depends. If you don't feel like it's worth it, then don't do it.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I do really think that it's like your connections that you make at school more so than like the actual thing that you're learning, because like what did we really learn in cinematography class? Like we barely got to like hold the camera and stuff. And I think like we took a lot of like theory classes, and I think that was useful too. But yeah, like I think that's a good point. In like a lot of film school is like your connections that you make and your friends and how you move on with that. And I feel really bad for like the film students, and even, you know, like our friends from the year below us, like Jay and Chris, they graduated in quarantine, and it's like sucks, and it's like unfortunate, but yeah, I do think like your connections are what's most important. Like you can learn everything like on set though. I think that's where you really learn, but maybe like your connections are like.
So, Julia, Tyler, as you both know, you know, our main goal for Blue Shrimp Films is to make sure that we are a diverse group of people, right? We want to make sure that our stories are diverse, and the stories that we're telling are very important. And our friends are diverse, right? You know, we don't try to bring on lots of white people, you know, no offense, but you know, that's just who we are, right? And I'm the whitest Latino, right? And I'm saying that kind of crazy, you know, but that's just what we try to do. Let's talk about being a person of color in the industry and what that is, right? And Julia, I always remember you telling me one thing, and it's a little different for me because one, you're a person of color, but you're also a female, you know, which is a double whammy, right? You get hit twice, right? You get hit twice, right? And I remember at one time you were telling me that people at one point even just flirt with you, right? While you're on set, like, you know, it's like, it's that thing where like, it's sometimes people just don't take you seriously. So for one, how do you fight that? How do you live through that? What do you all do?
I think it was definitely harder in live action where people, you know, you really have to, it's just a different world, you know, but I think it's best not to see it as like a patronizing thing of like, oh, I'm a female, like, oh, I'm a woman of color, like more of like an empowering thing. Like, this is who I am. And, you know, I am like very capable of doing everything and anything.
Right.
But I do think that it's our like culture of this has like grown a lot to be way more PC than when we first started. Like the whole like Me Too thing happened like when we were in film school. And I think it's like a lot of awareness has like been brought up to like just being confrontational about like, that's not okay. Like there needs to be a line drawn. And I think it's like gotten a lot better since. Like there are mandatory sexual harassment classes like everywhere, like in every, you know, union, you have to take these. And I think it's like really beneficial because a lot of these people who were doing like making these like uncomfortable remarks were like older people. They weren't really from like our age group. And now like they have to take like these like sexual harassment classes and like training. But I think that's like a really positive step. And I also just been like noticing like a lot of people are like really focusing on like people of color, like their stories, like, and like bringing that into like the front. It's like I feel like we're actually getting recognized as like our stories are just as important. Like it's not always about some white like hero, white male hero who like saves the day or something. And it's really refreshing. And I'd say, you know, if you struggle with like I feel like you just have to know that like you deserve to be here like fully, and that your voice is just as important as anyone else in the room. And like as long as you know that, then like you can like go as far, like succeed, you know, with anything that you dream of.
So Tyler, what about you, man? What about you being a person of color in the industry? Let's talk about it.
I don't see like any problems, you know, like I don't have.
But that's the thing with men, we don't see lots of problems. You get me? Like,
yeah, y'all privileged.
Yeah, well, But you know, like I do see a lack of people of color on set, and I think that's what I have to say about this. Like a lot of times when I'm on a set, it's just like, you know, all the grips are like these white guys, and I don't even want to like get really into like this whole situation of like there's a lack of it, but it's, you know, I feel like it's true somewhat, and it's tough when you like want to say something, but yet like, you know, these establishments, these production companies have established their employees or their crews in a way.
Oh, did you think it was different when you were working with the film crew in South Africa compared to like working in America?
Oh yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, talk about your experience on Spell.
That was dope. Yeah, I went to South Africa for a month and worked on a feature film called Spell.
Hey! This is for your own good.
It's out now. It's out VOD. It was totally different. I mean, South Africa still has a big population of white people. So there were a lot of white people on set still, but I think what was interesting was like the grips and all, and the camera crew, yeah, were all diverse, and it like made such a lasting impact on me. Like one of the camera operators was this girl, and I was like, wow, like she's really taking on the lead of this like a champ. And I mean, like I don't see that ever you know, on set out here. So it was really cool to see all that. And I think it was like, you know, for one, they like speak their own language out there, and so a lot of times I couldn't like understand them, but I mean it was awesome to see like just all this. And it was a feature film. There was a lot of people on set, pre-COVID, of course, but it was really like heartwarming to see like all these different types of people working towards one thing. So yeah.
Did you feel like that girl? She was, you know how you mentioned you don't see that a lot here in LA. So do you feel like she was respected over there?
Yeah,
for being a woman doing that?
She was, yeah.
Yeah.
There were other women, but there were other women, but like a few of them were like on production side, like there would be like a like a third AD, or like the producers were women, but like she stood out, and you know, a lot of people like look to her to like tackle certain things with like with great like respect in a way, and yeah, nobody ever like looked twice at her and was like, I don't think you could do that, you know. She was definitely there for a reason.
We've graduated in 2019, so it's been a year and a half already since we graduated and we finished school. Have your goals changed in the past year and a half with what you want to do or your ultimate final goal is?
Not so much. I think I graduated with a lot of ambition to be in the film industry, and I still do want to be in the film industry. But I think as a like what my role might be, like I think I did go out of it wanting to like be in the world of camera and like cinematography. But I've since sort of like swapped that with wanting to do more editing or possibly doing more directing, but I know that that's something I have to try and do on my own.
It's been very different because, you know, I graduated and then I started working in animation. And so that it was something like totally unexpected too. It was like, so I think like career wise, I think I like see myself like working in animation for probably the next 5 years or so. But I think with all the projects, like passion projects or projects outside of my work, I think definitely like live action and filmmaking is something that like I'll always want to do. And like we're always talking about like story ideas, and we're always talking about scripts and like what we can do, like how we can make it come to life, and like what we can execute. And it's like, I think that's always something that like is my first like passion and my like, but I feel like for job wise, like money, income making things, like I'm working in animation, you know, but they're both like storytelling. It's just like a different medium in a way.
Well, you know what I gotta say about, you know, y'all being able to talk to each other about story and all that. That's some couple goals, you know, like
Yeah.
we can say that, right? Couple goals, right? We can say,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And
We got the same shit to talk about.
yeah. And with that, you know, we'll start transitioning into the film. So, you both just recently released a film. Came out on YouTube 2 weeks ago, I'd say.
Like a month ago now.
Yeah, almost a month ago.
It came out January 15th.
We all saw it. It was dope. We loved it. We all really enjoyed it, you know? And I think for me, like one of the things that made me the happiest was just knowing that, you know, you both were just still working and doing something, you know, like still making a project, you know, not just always just, I'll say just working for the man, right? Like y'all are still working on something for yourself and on your own and putting it out into the world, you know? So who wants to talk about the project a little bit? How did it happen?
For sure. Yeah. It happened very spontaneously, I'll say that. I was house sitting for my stepdad's ex-wife, actually. And you know, she's like a writer, so she was out on like a work trip for a while. And so I was going over to her house and watering her plants, checking her mail. And every time I went in, I was like, wow, this is like such a cool house. Like I'd love to do something here. And actually one day Julia came over to help me water plants. And I had like this Sony camera with me, and I was like, let's shoot something like right now. Like let's just try something. And we didn't know what we were gonna do. And so I think what we came up with was like, okay, we have this whole house. What are we gonna do in this house? And so we came up with this idea where you like come home and there's like some supernaturalness happening around you. And we shot that. We came back with it. The next day I put something together from what we got. And we were like, okay, this is cool, but like, what else can we, like, how can we improve? Because this can't be it, you know? Like, I think we believed in the project so much, we wanted to rework it a lot. And it was...
Did you guys actually write a script, or did you guys just start shooting?
The first day where we went to water plants, we just shot. We were just like, what can you do? You know, you come inside the house, you turn the light on, you go to your bedroom with the lights on. You know, you go inside, you check it out, you turn it off. And then you go in the kitchen, and then there's like a figure in the reflection. Oh shit, you know, like what's happening? So we just sort of thought of all these ideas. And then we came back and we started really thinking about, okay, well, what can we like actually put in there?
Like the story.
We thought about the story.
Yeah.
We started to make a treatment, a shot list, and sort of like mood board and all this like stuff that you would normally do pre-production. But I think that first day was like the building blocks of like, you know, like definitely like the mood and like the pacing and everything.
Yeah.
And then we started shooting it in like October, and we're just trying to do it on the weekends because you're working throughout the week.
But it's like we actually filmed it like 3 times, which is crazy. So like that first time was a spontaneousness. Second, we had our friend Alex Castro help us out, and then like we were just like, oh, like we don't know in which direction the story is going. The third time we actually storyboarded it, and we were like, okay, this is it. And then we got it down, and that was like that's when we knew like, okay, we have this shit like figured out. We have the story like all put together.
Yeah.
And so it just made, you know, us realize how important storyboards are. Like they're seriously just like the Bible.
Yeah, or even
And
just
I saw you compose it.
Oh yeah,
I did. Yeah,
you did.
I've been making music.
Tell me more.
I've been making music since 2015, since I like graduated high school.
Wow.
And I, I was like, why would I try to like use somebody else's music when I can like definitely try to do something myself? And so I actually have this new synthesizer that I was like, going through all the sounds for. And there's like a lot of like dark and eerie sounds where I'm like, when else would anyone use these sounds? So I went for it, and I was like, let's just see what we can get with the sounds. And that part took a while. I have to say that. Like we had the edit done, and maybe like 2-3 weeks.
No, like a week or so, like a week and a half. Yeah,
I think it was 2 weeks. But I like, I was just trying to. The hard part for me was like trying to figure out the mood, and like I had these sounds, but I didn't know how to like, get them to feel right. And I feel like that's two very different things. Like you could have a sound, but then you have to play that and, make it feel like it's right. And I won't say that the compositions are like spot on, but I feel like it was the best that I could do for the time frame and for like the project at the time.
Yeah, and I helped make 2 of the songs.
That's what I was gonna ask. I read that Julia composed some songs too. How was that?
Yeah, I was just like boom, like that was like freaking crazy. Like it's just it was fun though.
And Julia, how'd you get the lead role? Like how who decided that you were gonna star?
Was it past the audition and stuff, or
How was the audition process?
That was so fun because it was like really spontaneous. Like the day of, like everything just fell into place because like we had this camera and we were just talking. Like we always talk about like stories, like what can we do, like what would be an interesting story. And then we were in this really nice house and it's like creepy, and it's like I think we were also thinking like, oh, did you just hear something? Like, everyone experiences that. Like, whenever you're home alone, like, you think that you hear something in the other room. Like, sometimes, like, you think you see something in the back, like, the corner of your eyes or something. And it's like, we're like, oh, we should explore that, like, psyche of, like, fear. And, like, fear of, like, you're alone and when you're in a house and you think you're not alone. And it's like, that whole story was just, like, it came up, and then when we were just in like the right time and place, and I was like, okay, like I guess we can just try it out, and like I'll act, and it was a really good experience because I've always like wanted to act in something, and it was like this opportunity, and I realized like how hard it is to act, and like.
So that was your first time acting?
Yeah, it was like my first time acting ever, and realize like how hard it is to just convey emotions and like just to make yourself feel something.
And Tyler, how was it for you to direct Julia, your girlfriend? Was it different than directing other actors?
It was easy actually, because like I feel like I can tell her anything, and I feel like our communication is strong, and it's at that point where like if we needed to get something done and I need to be like a little like harsh or like serious about something, like I can be, and we can talk about that, but a lot of it was like trying to communicate the right things. It's not so much about like giving a sort of backstory to every shot or scene. It's more about like how is this motivated, how are we gonna like move forward, and that was always on my mind, I think, just about like you know, how can I tell her something that is gonna like feel like hit her in like an emotional way and make her feel like she can really act this out instead of like pretending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what am I? Well, you know, knowing that it was right, you two, and then Alex. Well, he wasn't there all the time, right? But I'm pretty sure he helped a lot. But knowing that it was you two, like, you know, who's in charge here? Julia Tyler, like, who's in charge? Like, who makes that final? Who made that final decision? Right?
Yeah.
I feel like it was like like it was very communicative. It was like we were both so collaborative in this like film. We'd like always bounce ideas off each other and be like, "What about this? Is this stupid? Like, tell me if this is dumb. Like, what do you think about this shot? Like, can we shoot from here? Like, can we compose it this way?" And it's like, it was totally like collaborative.
Yeah, and it was like there was never like an idea that wasn't heard. I think it was very much collaborative. Like if I framed it up one way and she's like, you know, maybe we could try it this way, I wasn't gonna say no, like this is the way, you know, like
it's better this way.
I definitely I was definitely, you know, like behind the camera, so I had to make somewhat of a decision sometimes. But it was always like, you know, any idea could be communicated, and we didn't want to overstep each other's boundaries. So
yeah, but I think like I had to take on that like producer role of like, we need to move on, like we need to like this, right. We're taking too much time on this shot, like we need to move on to the next scene. And like, you know, we'd have like shooting schedules set and be like, we have to do this, like we have to go out and like put the deadlines in, and you know, like we have to figure out like how much we're spending on like renting stuff. And like I think that was like also even then like very like understanding of our communication. It was just really fun. Yeah,
but that's a good thing, like when you come up with something like very quick or something just from instinct or something from the base from what you have, that's basic way to make film. Otherwise it's not gonna get done. If you think about having two houses, how the hell you're gonna get two houses? I want one house and I have one house, I have one camera, one actor, and this and that, and we're gonna create a story. And that's the exact same way we do in film school, and that's the same way that people should do if they want to make film. Think about what you have.
I agree.
You know, the crew, the camera, the whatever you have, and make it happen with the best way you can. And then you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
And I was like,
definitely felt like we had all the right elements right there, and we didn't want to wait to do something. You know, like even the next day, we were like, "Fuck it, let's do it right now. Let's shoot." Like we had a whole ass day.
And I watched it very carefully. I observed what's going on there with the song, with the mood going on, with the acting and everything. I can see that production design is on point.
Oh,
because there are two of them in there. Oh man, done right. And I was like, that's all right. Like everything, the props and everything is all done right. You know?
Yeah, and
it's
that
good.
was.
I love it. Like
No, go ahead.
And I barely seen other people are doing it, because the other people, when they do it, they have a good editing, they have good directing, maybe a good shot, a lot of good shot people, right? But what about the art, the things are going, the color, the material, and this and that, what they're telling. And this has almost no dialogue, right? And it tell story.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that too. They're like, wow, there's no dialogue. And I thought that was like very refreshing. Like you don't see that very often. And I was like, you know, it's not even like that we chose to do that. It's just that's kind of what we chose to do that, but that's sort of what that's what the story like brought to us. Like there wasn't any time where you needed to speak.
Yeah.
We almost had someone like you know, she calls somebody like in the very beginning, and like she was gonna say like hello, you know, like something like small. But like whatever, it's just like I think the dialogue didn't need to be there.
Yeah, and I think like when we didn't have like the dialogue, you like put yourself in the character more, because you're just like with them and you're not like distracted by like whatever they're like saying. You're kind of like experiencing what she's feeling with her, and that's what we wanted to like convey and like have that mood.
One thing I noticed was the hose. The hose, it spray water very weirdly, like weird way, but it
Oh
looked
yeah, it
cool
went
though.
down.
It was like, it grabbed me a little attention, like what's going on with this house? It's not a normal hose.
We actually, that's funny you mentioned that hose because we actually had a whole sequence of like her watering the plants, and it was like cut very fast, and it was like very jarring just from the shots that we had because they were like shots of plants moving and then like her like turning and it was very quick and like so you realize something is like off, something's wrong. But I don't know what happened. I think it was the lighting that we didn't like.
Yeah.
It was just like didn't work, so we cut it out.
Then what next for y'all? Are you making other live action more or leaning toward animation?
Oh, more live action.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
Are you guys working together on any projects? You guys have projects in mind?
We do, yeah. We have something that is sort of based on Los Angeles and finding those quiet places that maybe some people don't recognize or realize that are actually in LA. We won't say too much more, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty. That's what I have to say.
That's cool.
I like
That's
it.
cool.
When I think of LA, I think loud as hell. That.
Yeah.
LA, disgusting loud.
Yeah.
So cool, Julia, Tyler. Where can we? Is it Solitude, right? Or is it? There's like the two dots, right? I don't know. Is it Solitude? Is that
it's Solitude, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
What happened was on that. I was looking at the definition of solitude just because I wanted to like, read what the dictionary had to say. And when I looked it up, I noticed that the what's it called the syllables were broken in solitude.
Yeah.
And it was written that way, and I was like, that's very interesting because it has I's in the middle. And that's kind of what it is. It's just you. It's just
like
one. So I was like, let's do it.
That sound like someone is peeking through you in the middle of solitude.
Right. Yeah. I was like, wow, so interesting.
Yeah, and we it's going through like a little festival run right now.
Oh, nice. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see how many laurels it gets. How many?
Yeah.
Actually, had one.
We got
already.
one.
That's
That's right.
Wow.
So far.
Indie Shorts Fest. Shout out Indie Shorts Fest.
Y'all have a poster too?
Poster? No. How you can help me?
I gotta make the poster that drop the laurels on it. That's important.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Tyler, Julia, where can we watch the film right now for the people listening or watching? Where can they see it?
You watch it on YouTube,
Vimeo.
Vimeo. Freaking yeah. I was reluctant to put it on Instagram, IGTV because I was like, I don't want anyone to watch it here. I'd rather them. Yeah. And it's easy, it's like that's a good place to put it because that's where everyone is. But it's worth seeing maybe like on good speakers or a bigger screen. So
I can recap something. I have something in my mind that I want to say. Maybe you can be useful.
Okay.
Well, I would say I heard about people of color. I'm one of them, and I'm from 80,000 miles away or whatever, 8,000 miles, right? Thailand. So I'm here. The English is not my first language. March 4th, it's my 10th year anniversary that I've been in LA. My English is not 100% perfect. When I work, I see that sometimes I get a little, people taking advantage out of me a little bit. If I don't fight back sometimes, I'm too nice sometimes. But I don't see is that a big problem? I see it's a big problem too, but it's like the problem is not me being color or that person is white or black or Asian or Brazilian or whatever. The problem is people being too cruel to each other. The problem is you have to protect, people of color or non-color or whatever people around you and share more love, and that create the united. But making film or doing what a lot of business, there are a lot of greed, a lot of money going on, so people probably drive into something that we don't know. So I would say we just spread more love and try to protect each other. And I heard about you talking about hobbies, right? You want to pursue your career or whatever. I really support Blue Shrimp, want to support you, whatever you want to make it happen. We want to make it happen. We're not rich man, but we are rich here. And we want to make whatever we can. And I'm trying my best right now. Like I'm trying to get rid of being a full-time editor. I wanna be myself. I do a lot of things. Thomas only focus on two things: EOP at school, cocaine sister. Me, I do like 20,000 things, and one of them working, one of that, and this and that. But I'm still happy. I'm a happy guy. But I'm trying right now to prove that if you have your hobby, get paid, your hobbies, and your hobby become, your earning, your income, this is gonna be the best job you ever got. The best job you ever got. If I make stupid music, I got paid. The best job I got. I cook stupid video, I got paid. I'm so happy. And if you want to make film, you want to make animation or whatever, do your hobby and get paid. And we want to support you. And I really feel good to have y'all on our podcast and talk with you. I want to see y'all next week if possible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good seeing you guys. I'm like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, miss you guys. And that's so true. Like, I think what something like I thought of what you're talking about with your experience as like being a person of color is that like if we want to share stories about people of color, it's like we need to make it like as true and genuine as possible. And it's like that's what people like really love. And that's why they connect with it. Like we're in this like time when we have so much content. Like we're just over flooded with content. And it's kind of like we're just like drowning in it. And like we have to make things that are like really special and that are like unique in itself. And like just like gems. And I think in that is just being like honest and like true to your own experience. And I feel like that's what really makes people love films, is that like genuine story and like those emotions that you feel. So I feel like
Absolutely.
That should be like the driving
That was
point.
the unfinished.
Are like fighting with these like fucking execs, be like, you don't understand, like you're a sociopath, like this is the story, like these are like our emotions.
Cool. And we'll end the podcast with 3 questions. I'm gonna hit Julie and Tyler. I'm gonna hit the both of you with 3 questions. Okay. First thing that comes to mind, just answer it. Okay. Favorite film?
Oh man. Oh shit. This is hard.
One only, please.
We recently watched Mulholland Drive, and I think that one's been stuck in my mind for a while.
Okay. Julia?
Yeah. Okay. The favorite film, the one that always comes to my mind is Emile or Amelie. That that one.
French one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Crazy.
Just one final piece of advice to those people who want to make films and lose motivation, or just that one final piece of advice.
Yeah. Well, I'll go.
Over it.
Mine is that like with this film, like I think the hardest part in anything is starting. It's like starting is like 80% of the work. And it's like getting yourself to like mentally get over that block of like, this is too hard. Like this, like, I can't do this. Like, there's too much money. Like, I don't have the people. But it's like, once you get over all those fears and like you actually do it, you find that things aren't as hard and aren't as scary as you make them out to be in your head. And I think that's something like I really learned with this film is that like, we're just really trying to like make art. And it's, once you get yourself over that initial like fear and anxiety, and it's like, you just do it. And like, that's what we're here to do, is like make and share art. So I feel like you just like gotta not give a fuck about what anyone else thinks and like really just go for it and like be true to your story.
Yeah. I agree 100% with that because that was sort of my initial thinking of it too. Was like starting was always so hard because I always want to like see everything that goes on in this project before we do it. But I think what made it different this time was like we had a location, but also that we had that drive and we wanted to do what we wanted to do. And like it never stopped us. And I think after that we realized like, you know, it's always about like what you want to see and the personal side of it, because you should always try to be you and adhere to whatever like comes out of your brain, and try to manifest it and execute it. But advice wise, I think don't overthink shit, and realize that it's going to be okay in the end. Whether it works or it doesn't, you'll find a way.
Cool. And then last question. All right, this one's random, but Tyler, what's your favorite thing about Julia? Julia, what's your favorite thing about Tyler?
What is this?
Well, he asked me first. One of my favorite things is actually your smile. It's really nice to look at. So, and I like making it happen.
Oh.
Okay, one of my favorite things is Tyler's music taste. It's like so wide, like it has so much variety, and we always like discover new music together. But like he's like so on point with like the songs, and like always shows me like different like music from like South African music, Ethiopian, like jazz, and it's like that's
nice.
one of my favorite things. It's like
cool. Well, thank you, Julia and Tyler, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you in person soon, and we hope to work in person soon, right? We hope to see each other in person soon, get drunk together soon, have a good time soon, and again, thank you so much, and we can't wait for the next project. So
thank you for having us.
Thanks, y'all.
And Blue Shrimp is here for your next project or maybe future projects. We would love to work together with you guys.